An unusual sound is heard around Kyoto in early January. Every year, between January 8th and January 14th, Shugendo or Yamabushi from Shogoin temple visit the homes of believers and shops, chanting sutras to perform protective blessings, and chanting their conch shells, hora, which always accompany Shugendo during religious training. Shugendo has existed in Japan as an amalgamation of Buddhist, Taoist and Shinto beliefs and practices centered around ascetic practice in the mountains with the aim of obtaining magic religious powers since at least the 8th century. By the Heian period, ascetics would travel the country practicing healing rituals, exorcism and the like. Around the 14th century, Shugendo became institutionalized as it coalesced around several temple shrine complexes built around sacred mountains and incorporating clergy both from esoteric Buddhism schools such as Tendai and Shingon and from the ranks of Shugendo. Because of its deep-running syncretism, in 1872 Shugendo was banned, which resulted in some organizations being disbanded and some absorbed into Buddhist institutions, such as the case with the Honzan group becoming part of Tendai, with Shogoin as the head temple. The restrictions were lifted in late 1945, with Shogoin regaining independence in 1946, and what we see today are the results of attempts to rebuild the tradition post-World War II. This particular tradition, Kanchu Takuhatsu, or begging for alms in the cold, has been practiced in Kyoto since 1936, according to the newspaper Kyoto Shimbun. Of course, much has changed since the 1200s. To survive, many Shugendo organizations had to expand the pool from which they draw ritualists. In response to modern pressures, Shogoin has stated that they are going to provide training to lay practitioners, and these days many practitioners combine ascetic practice in the mountains with an office job. Women also play an increasingly important role in Shugendo. Shogoin, for example, was one of the first Shugendo organizations to permit women participation in previously inaccessible rituals, and in 2004 for the first time ordained a woman as a monk Yamabushi. Just as the demographics, the rhetoric around the practice has also shifted from an aspiration for supernatural powers to an aspiration for meaning and enlightenment. Yet, whatever form Shugendo may take, the sound of a hora will always remind those who saw Kanchu Takuhatsu of Kyoto winters and the precious time they spent here.